iPads definitely, they do help in the classroom, but then there's always the trouble of, will kids behave on their iPads? Are they doing what they're supposed to? Are they working? It is a lot better than having to lug a textbook home every night. You can take pictures of the things that you need, and your homework is right there. There are some problems with it, like automatically deleting on itself, but those can be fixed, I'm sure.
Well,
It was a big change, and I think there's always, somebody had to be the first year to try these out. It happened to be us. But I think it was a great learning experience, not only for us, but I'm sure it was for the staff also. What I've learned this year is that technology is a lot more helpful than it sometimes seems. It might seem like a lot of money goes into it, but it's worth a lot more than it seems like. So I think they're really useful. I would really like it if we had like keyboards or something, but we're the first year, we never really know. So, well, maybe the kids in 3 years will have keyboards. There's always improvements, but this is a really good tool.
Question, sorry. How often, for example, one day, regular day, my question is, this iPad is replacing all the notebooks, all the textbooks? I mean, how many hours do you use the iPad per day?
I know we use the iPads in science every single day. We do use a lot of technology in reading as well.
Subject?
Yeah.
Sophia, tell some of the cool things you're saying. Okay.
Science. We get to, now with our iPads, there's so many different labs we get to do, so many things we can record on them. We are able to do our work at our own pace, which I think is really nice. If we already know that, we know a lot about the periodic table of the elements. We aren't just sitting there listening to them about the periodic table of elements.
Your grade depends on this.
And it is also nice for the kids who maybe aren't able to learn as well as other kids. They are able to slow down and say, hey, wait a minute, I don't get this. And they are able to stop and learn it instead of going straight through the lesson like, what did I just learn? And that's also what I think is really nice.
Oh, what were you going to say before?
Yeah, I actually prepared a few examples about how it changed in the classroom. One of them was we have the shared documents. It's shared with everybody in our language arts classroom, including the teacher. They're called response sheets, and they make it so that not only can the teacher quickly look over them and see all of our answers, but the students can compare their answers, and we compare thinking about the books we're reading, or one time we compared our figurative language examples. Another thing we did, you saw the picture up there when the kids were using the green screen app. Instead of doing just a normal oral report, we made those iMovies. That was pretty cool. One last one is that it actually opens up a lot of possibilities outside of school. I downloaded an app called Python, and for those of you who don't know, Python is a programming language. I'm hoping to learn how to program, and I've got the internet on the iPad to look up tutorials, so that's about it.
In like all my classes that I have, we use this app called Canvas, and in that app you get all your assignments. So if you're sick at home, you have all your assignments there on your iPad, so then you can work on it. You can also, you get, like, you can talk with one another, like, to ask about questions that you have about a certain assignment, or like if you just want to chat with someone, because we don't have our messaging because of some issues. But the one thing that I would say that would be a little more helpful is to have our textbooks on our iPad, because for math and science we still have to lug around those huge heavy books, and at some point they just get so tiring just to carry around, so it'd just be nice to just carry around your iPad without your books on it.
Okay, I also think that the iPads are a good tool for families who don't have access to technology at home. Since everything is becoming so technology-based, you have to find a way to communicate with your teachers if something happened, and you can email them on your iPad. And it's just nice that you don't have to log on to a computer and do it that way. It's so much simpler to just get on your iPad and quickly make a note or send something to your teacher instead of waiting till the next day to tell them what you needed to tell them. So I think that is also really useful.
Can you go back to your math thing again? Now, you said that it would be nice if the textbooks were on the iPad, but when you're actually doing your homework,
Yeah.
you're still using paper and pencil for that, right?
Yeah, and then also I personally use like the notes to take notes in class. Like if my teacher tells me that like there's a certain way that is easier to use to solve a certain problem, I would note that down, because sometimes you have your iPad right there, but your notebook is like off to the side where you have to go underneath everything. You may forget what you're saying, so you can quickly log on and type it in.
But without a keyboard, how does that happen quickly?
Keyboard pops up on your screens.
Right, but don't you still have to do the touch screen thing for each letter? And
It's not that
I
hard.
mean, it'd be way quicker just to write it down.
Yeah, I think it's just based on what you personally think is better for your learning experience. I know I have some, like I have friends, well, I have friends, but like I have like some friends are saying like we've always been talking that like, oh, I like this about the iPads, I don't like this, and it's like it all comes down to for us like how the iPads work. Like I may be in the middle of searching up a project because we're doing a project in my language arts class, and something pops up where your Wi-Fi isn't working or that, and it's just that we have all these issues on our iPads, but they all we have some helpers at our school that are able to help us, but we can't always be helped. So it would be paper and pencil still is used a lot in a lot of my classes, but I think the iPads help better with your learning because you can always go back onto it because you can easily lose those papers or if you accidentally put them away by your parents. That happened to me. And so like it may be a homework assignment that you can always bring back from your iPad, and like because if you delete a photo by accident, it's still there for 30 days on your iPad because you can recover it. So it's not fully deleted until after like 30 days. And like once your homework is in the dump, you can't get it back.
But you also have to remember that these four kids over here have never lived in a world without technology. When we grew up, yeah, it was a lot easier to do. That was the way we learned. We learned without them down in
My question is, can they read cursive writing?
Probably. Well,
Let's test them
I think
right now.
I have a little thing to add on to what she was saying about the textbooks. In our math classroom, my 7th hour math with Mr. Leonard, I think they have have this website, I forget what it's called, but they do have some of the pages of our math textbook on there. And other times kids, instead of bringing their textbook home and back to school, they pull out their iPad, it has a camera on the back, and they take a picture of the page that has all the questions on it. So they can do that instead.
Yeah, and to add on to that is, once you take that one picture, if you have a question about what's that actual lesson about, you have to take a whole lot of other pictures about that lesson. So it'd be nice to have that certain lesson in on your iPad, because they don't have all the lessons, or you just fill up all your camera rolls so you can't do it for an actual project that you have to take pictures for. And so after a while it just kind of fills up all your storage, and then you gotta take all your time that you could be doing your homework, you could be doing some extra credit, or communicating with other kids about what you could do if you're working on a project together, in class. You can communicate out of class, by emailing each other, or if you're really close friends, you can call. But instead you have to take the time to clear out all that storage and the camera roll, or your history when you go on Safari, or all your email, which could take a while with all the schools sending you so many emails from Canvas.
And also, it does depend on the teacher. Some teachers, they do prefer to use their textbooks and paper and pencil rather than their iPads. And I think it's also different for students too, if they prefer to use paper and pencil or iPad. And I think that it affects how they learn and how they do it in the classroom. I'm gonna say something. I think that iPads also open up lots of opportunities. See, Gabby here, she is creating a butterfly garden outside of our school, and she wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for the research and time and from her iPad. Another example that I'm going to use is in art class, we have to make an iMovie trailer at the end of the quarter to show our work and how we've improved. And I think that that's also a really cool way as a sort of a finals thing. It just opens up so many new things you can do in class. It's not just the same thing every single day. Also in the future for jobs, I think their job opportunities would be a lot bigger if they know how to use technology when they're older and they go to college and get jobs.
To add on to that, I was actually talking to my dad the other day, and he you are so lucky to have these iPads at your age, because when my dad was our age, he had pencil, paper, textbook, and that's all he got to learn with. And he was a math science genius, and that's what he was in. That's his word, it's not mine. But when he got his first programming job, he had to go to school again after to learn how to use the technology, because it grew after he got out of college. And so I think starting with the iPads at our age is going to help us, because I personally want to be a robotics engineer, and to have this, it helps with knowing how to program. And for our Shakti district, we have First Robotics, and my friend, she is helping to raise money, and without that, she wouldn't be able to watch the robotics meets or see what they do or communicate with them on how she could help raise money. So having the iPads helps bring some new communication into the world, and I'm going to add on to what you said.
Mm-hmm. The jobs and the future is going to be so technology based that if you come out of high school not knowing not knowing what to do with technology, not knowing, that is going to be a major setback, because almost every single person, well, not every single person, but a lot of people have like cell phones and they have devices that they carry around with them. It's become part of our daily lives, and if we don't know how to use it, then that's not gonna be good for anybody.